What's going on, guys? So in today's video, you'll learn how to create this modern login register form. As you can see, you click on register and the register comes in and we have all these fields. And if you click on login, you're gonna toggle between login and register. So let's have fun. It's gonna be easy to follow, a step-by-step guide. If this is your first time here, hit the subscribe button and that little bell so you don't miss our weekly videos. We will have all this done in just a few minutes. Let's get started. Alright, starting from scratch, let's open our folder. You'll see those pictures, background and three icons. You have those in the video description. In here, let's create our first files, okay? Let's create our index.html, our style.css, and our app.js, okay? We're gonna use vanilla JavaScript. Okay, in our VS Code, let's hit the exclamation point and hit tab, so we have our boilerplate. For the title, let's say login and registration form. And let's have our link that's going to connect our HTML to our CSS file, okay? Let's go live so you can see real time everything we're doing here, okay? Let's create our first div here, the form box and button box. Now let's create our CSS reset. Margin and the padding is going to be 0, and for font let's use sans serif. Now let's start the hero. In here we are going to have our background. The height is going to be 100% and width also 100. For the background, I can type today. Okay, background image. Let's have a linear gradient on the top of our picture, okay, make it more professional, much more beautiful. And let's pick those colors, okay? And now our URL, let's choose banner. This is our background. For background position, let's put in the center. And background size is gonna be cover, so it's full screen, okay? Position is gonna be absolute. Let's reload and here we have it. Alright, now let's start our form box itself. Let's give it a size, okay, width 380 and height 480. Position is going to be relative. Margin 6% auto. Background, let's choose a white color. Not too white, so there is not the high contrast, so let's pick this RGB 226, looks nice. For the padding, let's give it 5 pixels. And overflow, almost done. All I have to do in this one is give some box shadow. RGB 000 for black and opacity of 0.25. Okay, and going to this color, again black, but a little less transparency. Let's also give about the radius, so it's not that square. Now let's choose this div button box. We're gonna create that color around the buttons, okay? Let's give a width of 220 pixels. Margin 35 pixels auto. Position is gonna be relative. And let's also give a box shadow of 00 to 80 pixels, 9, and let's pick this color here. Let's also make it round with border radius 30 pixels. Alright, let's go back to our HTML file. Let's create our button. For type, let's say button, and Let's give it a class of toggle button. This is the main component of our project, okay, those login and register button. Let's duplicate this one and let's say here register. As you can see on the right, we have the two buttons, alright. Let's copy this class here and tag it in the CSS. For the padding, let's say 10 pixels, 30 pixels. Cursor is going to be pointer. Background here transparent. Let's also get rid of the border. And outline none. For position, let's pick relative. Let's also create another button here to give color to our button, okay? Let's pick the ID, BTN, and let's target it in here. Top is going to be 0, left also 0. For the position, absolute. Let's give a width of 110 pixels. Height is going to be 100% of its parent. And for the background, let's pick this column. Is going to be a linear gradient. It's going to go to right from this column to this one, FF416C. As you can see, we have a button here. Let's make it round. Let's give it a button radius of 50%. And let's give a transition of 0.5 seconds, okay? Now let's have our social icons. Let's tag them here. This one for the Facebook, and another one for the Twitter, and one more. They're all in the same folder, okay? You have those in the video description. There is a link, then you can download those one. So let's tag it in here. Social icons. Let's give a margin of 30 pixels. Top and bottom and auto. Text align, let's put in the center. They are too big right now, but we are gonna take care of that now. Social icons IMG. Let's give a width 30 pixels. Let's give a margin, give a space between them, 0 to 12 pixels. They are too small. Let's put 40, too big. Let's say 35 pixels. Okay, looks good. You can mess around with the numbers. Let's give a box shadow of 0,0 offset, 20 pixels blur. And let's pick this color here. Cursor is going to be a pointer. So you have that hand when you mouse over this one. Border radius 50%. Coming to the core of our project, we are going to build our first and our second forms. Now our login and then our register. This one, the class is going to be input. Let's create input type text. And for the class, let's say input field. It's going to have also a placeholder, user ID, and let's say required. Let's duplicate this one, and let's type, the type is going to be password, and for the placeholder, enter password. Let's create one more, this time checkbox. Let's give it a class of checks minus box, okay? And let's create a label for this one, for checkbox. In the text, let's say remember password. Let's create a button, type submit, and in the class, let's say submit BTN. Let's have some text here. Let's type login. Okay, the markup is done. Now let's tag it in our CSS. Input group top is going to be 180 pixels. Position is going to be absolute with 280 pixels. And transition dot 5 seconds. Let's move now to our input field of our form. Let's give a width of 100%, padding 10 pixels top and bottom and 0 left and right. Margin is going to be 5 pixels, 0. And let's get rid of our borders with border top 0, border left and border right 0. Border bottom is going to be 1 pixel, solid. And let's pick this color 999. As you can see, it's in there red. Let's get rid of outline none, background transparent. And now let's grab our button, submit button with 85% of its parent. Let's give a padding 10 pixels by 30 pixels left and right. Cursor is going to be pointer. Display, let's choose block. Margin auto. Background image, let's use linear gradient. Let's use the same primary color. Okay, let's create this gradient to the right from this color to this one, FF416C. Border is going to be 0, outline none, and border radius, let's say 30 pixels to make it round. Okay, next let's select our checkbox. Let's give a margin of 30 pixels, 3 pixels, 30 pixels and 0 pixels. Now let's grab the label. Let's say color, instead of this black, let's have something better like this 777. Let's shrink its font to 12 pixels. And bottom 68 pixels. Now let's go back to our index CSS. Let's duplicate this one. And the first one was login. This one is going to be the second one, register. All we have to do here is duplicate this one. Okay. Let's change it a little bit. Instead of text in here, we are going to have our email. And the placeholder here is going to be email ID. Okay, now let's change the label here. I agree with the terms and conditions. And also the button. Instead of login, let's say register. As you can see, they are overlap each other, but we're gonna take care of that right now. Let's grab our login, left 50 pixels. Let's duplicate this one and change the login for register. And left is gonna be for 50 pixels. As you can see, we have already our both forms. We have two forms, okay? Okay, back to our markup. Let's add on-click login to our login button, and let's add on-click register to our register button. Let's also create our script for our JavaScript, okay, app.js. Now it's time for us to go back to go to our JavaScript, okay? Let's create our variables. Let x equal document get element by ID. Let's grab our login. And now let's grab our register, this is the second one. Now let's see equals document get document by ID. Let's get the BT again. Now we have the variables. Let's create a function, okay? Let me copy this register here, and let's create a function called register, and this is the code block, okay? The code block here, x style dot left minus 400 pixels. I'm gonna duplicate this one and change the numbers here, okay? The second one is gonna be 50 pixels, and the Z1 is gonna have 110 pixels. Now let's create our second function. Let's call that one login. You understand that when you click login, it's gonna call the function, and the function is gonna run this code block, okay? The first one 50 pixels, the second one 450, and this one 0 pixels. As you can see, it's working, okay? When you click register, everything we did before is working. Our JavaScript is working, but there's a problem. You can see both of them at the same time, okay? We're gonna fix that right now. It's quite simple. All I have to do is go to the form box and set overflow to hidden. As you can see, it's working, and our project is also done. I really hope you enjoy it. I see you in our next video.